All right, you guys, so it's time for a little real talk. So, travel looks really glamorous on the outside, and sometimes it is. Like sometimes I have days when it's really fun and amazing and everything's going well and I'm just like having a ball. And then there are days like today and yesterday where I'm not feeling well and I'm just running into some issues. So some of my issues are bathroom based, which we will get into. I'm staying at a hostel, but it's also, I don't know if you can tell with my voice, I'm feeling a little bit congested and kind of sick. So I think it's a twofold issue. So part of it is that it's really hot here. It's like over 100 degrees Fahrenheit every day. So I'm like out in the heat, and then I come inside in air conditioning and I'm drinking these really cold juices and then going back out in the heat, and maybe all of these dramatic changes in temperature is kind of affecting me negatively. But on top of that, I'm not sleeping well. So I don't think I've had a good night's sleep for like at least 3 or 4 nights. So I'm staying at a hostel, and I actually really like staying in hostels. So when I was first traveling, I was only planning to travel for like 2 months, and I was like, I'm not a backpacker, I'm just gonna stay in hotels and like affordable hotels, but like that was my plan. But I wasn't meeting people, it wasn't really fun, it was just kind of like me completely on my own all the time, which can get a little bit old. So I stayed in my first hostel actually in Myanmar, and I loved it, and since then I've been hooked. Like my first impression, or the image that I had in my mind of hostels was sort of like this really dirty place where like these young kids are sort of hanging out, just getting drunk, and yeah, that's kind of just the picture that I had in my mind, and that didn't appeal to me at all. And that exists, some places, but that's not all that exists. There are really nice places, clean, and actually there's so many backpackers that travel that there's a lot of different options, and the accommodation and the level of accommodation can be quite high in a lot of places and cities. So I'm a hostel girl now. Sometimes I like to get away, have some privacy, but for now I like staying in dorms. So most dorms have between 4 and like 8 people. It's usually like bunk beds, so anywhere from 2 to 4 sets of bunk beds in the room. And then as far as bathrooms go, which will be our focus because these bathrooms are giving me some issues. So as far as bathrooms go, there's 2 kinds. So you can either have an en-suite bathroom, which means that the room has a private bathroom that's just for the people staying in that room. Now, I think that sounds like kind of a nice thing, right? Like, wow, okay, great, a private bathroom just for the people in the room. No, it's not a good thing. I don't like it. That's what I have now, and it's problematic. We'll get into that. The other option is that the option I prefer is when there's actually a bathroom that's shared, that's like in a hallway, okay? So where you have to leave the room, walk down the hall, go somewhere else, use the bathroom. Now, I like that option because there's some distance, right? So the issue that I'm having in my room right now, which is why I haven't been able to sleep, is that I tend to go to bed a little bit late, so like around 12:30, and I like to wake up at like 9. So I go to bed 12:31, whenever it is. And for the last couple of nights, around like 3 a.m., I wake up to this. This is my life right now. This has been my life for days. So I'm in India, you guys. Like, they call it Delhi belly, which is, people having gastrointestinal issues, people having diarrhea, vomiting, whatever. This is fairly common here. But like every night I'm waking up to people vomiting. No, put that bathroom in the hallway. I don't want to hear this. Like, this is not the way I want to wake up. First of all, I don't want to wake up until 9. So if you're gonna vomit and like wake me up, please can you do it like a little bit later in the morning? But by the way, of course, this girl has been vomiting. It's not her fault. She's sick. She has no agenda to try to keep me up, obviously. She's not feeling well, but that's why I like a bathroom in the hallway. I want some distance. I don't want to hear. I don't want to know what's going on. I don't want to know who has diarrhea and who does not. And let me tell you something. I know exactly who has diarrhea and who does not. I don't have diarrhea. I'm not vomiting, but every day I wake up to vomit. And, people who have this vomiting and diarrhea, this is not a one-time thing. This is an all-night issue. So, you know, I wake up to vomit at 3 a.m. There's more vomit at least by 5. Sometimes there's one person who's vomiting and another person who's pooping their brains out with the diarrhea. I mean, like, it's just a mess. Literally, actually, sometimes. Sometimes I go into the bathroom and it's a mess. Speaking of which, another pet peeve I have for hostel bathrooms is some of these people, they use the bathroom. Sometimes they're vomiting or pooping. Listen, it happens. I have no issue with people using a bathroom. However, a lot of people, what they do is they use the bathroom and then they just walk out of the bathroom, leave the door wide flying open so that all of those toxic fumes are all over the room. Like, I'm trying to lay in bed and sleep and I'm attacked. Okay, like it's a full-on assault on me, on the whole room. Who does this? Like, if you know you are having some problems, if you know you have vomited or your butt has exploded, please shut the door. Turn the air vent on and shut the door. I think this is basic, you know, but it's not basic because I'm smelling other people's vomit and feces on an almost daily basis, and this has got to stop. We need some kind of intervention. What I do, so I'm not just a silent victim, you guys. I do tell people. I try to do it in a nice way, so I usually just say like, hey, can you shut the door? Maybe turn the vent on. And they do, but like, why should I have to say that? You know what just happened in there. Like, get real. You know what I'm saying? Like, are these people, do they just want all of us to suffer? Is this like a team event? I don't know. I don't know. Now, I was talking to one of my friends here, and he's Indian, and he made an interesting point, which was to talk about the cultural differences between like India and, let's say, the West on pooping, okay? So, by the way, I hope this isn't too much TMI for you guys. If it is, I guess just go to the rafting video. The rafting video is a lot more benign. It's just like me, you know, rafting and having a good time. You can watch the market tour. Otherwise, this is what we're discussing today. So anyway, he was talking about how in India, people aren't so, I guess, self-conscious about that in a way. Like in the West, we don't really want people to know that we're pooping. We're kind of like embarrassed about it, whereas that issue doesn't really exist here, at least not in the same way. So when I first realized there was a big difference in this, it was actually my second day in India, and I was in the city of Varanasi, which is also called Benares. So I was in Varanasi, and I was like walking down this like narrow little street, and Varanasi is a really cool city. It's a really holy city. It's where people actually go to die, and there are a lot of different funeral rites. It's thought that, I think it's thought that if you die there, you like kind of ascend or something like this. Either way, this is where you want to die. So if you're Indian and this is your belief system. So people go there. So that's Varanasi. So I'm there kind of exploring, and I'm going by the river, which is where these ceremonies take place. So I'm going down this one little alley, and I see this cow on the side of the road. Now, like I said, this is day 2 in India. So I'm so psyched to see this cow. I love animals, and this cow was just like chilling out on the road. So like I take out my phone and I'm like framing it perfectly, you know, to get the cow and the road and the whole bit, and I'm like so excited. I'm taking the photo. I glance to my right, and literally like 2 feet away from me is a guy squatting and pooping on the road. Now, to his benefit, this was like a really chill alley, like a chill little alleyway. So there was only the 2 of us there. So he had found like a pretty good spot, you know, like if I hadn't been walking by, it would have been a completely, you know, kind of private experience for him. I don't think he cared. He was just kind of, we did make eye contact, you know, like we looked, and then I was, you know, kind of horrified. And then like I left, I kind of like ran away, because I wasn't expecting to see a dude pooping on the street. He was okay with seeing me on the street. This was not a shock for him. But the thing is that in India, there is a bit of an infrastructure issue surrounding bathrooms. And it's also something that the government, I'm told, is trying to fix. So there's all these initiatives to sort of help clean up India, also initiatives to kind of put more bathrooms in these sort of public places. So that is happening, which is a really good thing. But there's certainly some differences, you know, when it comes to bathroom norms, I guess, and sort of what's weird, not weird, or what's sort of okay. So that is certainly a factor. So anyway, you guys, that's what's going on here. I wanted to share it with you guys so that you know that travel's not always super glamorous. Sometimes it is, but sometimes you're just laying in your room sick, waking up to vomit. and that's it. But it's not every day. So feel free to send me your positive, healthy vibes so that I get rid of this cold soon. I switched rooms, you guys, so hopefully I will not be waking up to any vomit sounds tomorrow morning. Fingers crossed. There's actually more Indians in my room now, so I feel like that's a really good thing because they're not getting sick off of some food. This is the foreigners who are getting sick. So so fingers crossed. I think that problem is solved. So hopefully my next video will be a little bit more fun. But I think this is kind of fun in its own way. Fun, horrifying, disgusting, traumatizing. But still, there's an element of fun, perhaps. So stay tuned. Let's see what's up next.